What is up, guys? It's YaBoy here. Thank you guys so much for joining me again on the channel. Hope you guys are all having an awesome day. Today, the gameplay you're going to be watching is a game of domination on the map Evac using the FFAR. And the FFAR is actually what I want to talk about today. As you guys can probably tell by the title of this video, it is something to do with supply drop weapons. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to call it yet. But I want to talk about supply drop weapons, not only in Black Ops 3, but in Call of Duty in general. This is something that started back in Advanced Warfare, but more related to DLC weapons in general, which started back in Black Ops 2. I just kind of want to give you guys my opinion on the whole thing. It's a rather controversial topic in Call of Duty today, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into my mind and let you guys know what I think about it. So if you go back 3 years to Black Ops 2, in DLC Pack 1 Revolution, I believe it was called, Treyarch brought in 4 multiplayer maps and a zombies map, which was totally normal, and then they also brought in a new zombies game mode. But in addition to all those things, they also gave us the Peacekeeper submachine gun AR hybrid. This was the first time that we had ever seen a DLC weapon in Call of Duty, and the reason that this was so huge is that we were used to having an entire year where we just played with the exact same weapons in multiplayer that shipped with the game. You know, you had your assault rifles, your SMGs, your LMGs, your shotguns, your sniper rifles, your pistols, your launchers, and any special weapons like the ballistic knife, and crossbow in Black Ops 2. But the reason that it was so cool to add in a DLC weapon is that it gave us something new to experience, something new to learn how it operates and what situations it's best in and what guns it matches up well against and what guns it doesn't match up well against, and to see if you can play well with a new style of weapon as a player. It's a really unique experience. It allows you to, it adds in a new dynamic element to the game, and I think it's really, really cool. And the way that we received this weapon, like I said, was through DLC. So you paid for the maps and you also got the gun with the DLC pack. It wasn't something that you had to buy separately. It was just, it came along with the first DLC pack. It was included as another piece of downloadable content. And so the reason I'm making such a strong emphasis on that it was included in the DLC is that everyone had an equal opportunity of using that weapon in-game. Yes, it was something that you had to buy with monetary money, but it wasn't something that somebody else had an unfair advantage or an unequal chance of possessing as opposed to another player. Now, fast forward to Call of Duty Ghosts, because Black Ops 2 didn't give us any more DLC weapons, and in DLC Pack 1, they gave us the Maverick and the Maverick A2 assault rifle and sniper rifle. It was the same base gun, just with different elements that made it either an AR or a sniper rifle. This was basically the same concept, where we were given the sniper rifle and the assault rifle with owning the DLC pack, which you could buy either by owning the Season Pass and getting it for free as each DLC came out, or you could buy it individually if maybe all the DLC wasn't your thing, or you don't play the game that much and don't want to spend that much extra money on it, which is fine. If it's not worth it to you, then you didn't have to buy it. And it was the same thing with Call of Duty Ghosts' second DLC when they brought in the Ripper hybrid submachine gun AR, very similar to the Peacekeeper, but the unique thing about this one is that you could switch it between submachine gun and AR on the fly, which it either gave you a reticle and made the fire rate a little bit slower so you could be more accurate at a long range like an assault rifle, or you could have just a basic style iron sight and it would fire up close a lot faster so that you had a better chance of killing someone in a close range gunfight like a submachine gun. Now, what was really unique about this situation is that when they announced DLC 2 and they had like the trailer and everything that came out, I remember the guy who was the design director at Infinity Ward, kind of equivalent to what David Vonderhaar is for Treyarch, he was talking about how if you own the Season Pass, so you're supporting their game, you got to play with the Ripper that day, and you were able to play with the gun right away when that trailer came out, which is super, super cool. So you knew you were getting the DLC at a predetermined date in the future, but you also had access to this weapon they had already developed and implemented into the game right away, which was super, super awesome. So if it's a game that you're playing a lot, you spend the money on it because you play it enough, you get the reward of getting a weapon that maybe somebody else doesn't have. But this still doesn't give you an unequal chance of owning it as opposed to somebody else, other than the fact that you have to buy it. Now, the problem that what Advanced Warfare and what Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has done is since they implemented the supply drop system, it's given people, it's not necessarily an unfair advantage because the odds are still the same. In theory, the odds are still the same, but people have been getting other weapons that may be or may not be better than other ones that are already in game and giving them an unfair advantage, raising the pay-to-win dispute. But I think the problem is that it's not on the same playing level. Not everybody has the ability to buy all these supply drops. And the real problem is that even though you're buying these supply drops, you're not guaranteeing that you're going to get a gun. If you buy the DLC pack for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and you buy Revolution, you're getting the Peacekeeper. You know that. You buy a bunch of COD points to open up a bunch of supply drops, you could get a bunch of reticles and decals and not even see anything close to a weapon. So I think what a really easy solution would be to this is to just make the guns purchasable separately. Yes, you're still paying money for those weapons aside from the DLC packs in the game itself, but at least you know what you're getting. I think the biggest problem with this whole supply drop thing is that people are wanting certain things and not having direct access to those things that they use in game. Like, yes, it's very cool to get all this character customization and taunts, and some of them actually are really cool, but those aren't the things that people really want when they're opening up supply drops. I think supply drops in this game would have been perfectly fine if they would have stayed what they were at the very beginning, which is just purely cosmetic. I have no problem with that. I would still play the game just as much, but the fact that somebody else could have something that I don't and kill me with it in-game just because they were maybe a little bit more lucky than I am, as a player, I really don't like that. And that just feels unfair to me. So my solution, like I said, would be to just make the guns available separately, whether it be individually or in packs of weapons. Like, the DLC weapons in this game have come out in, like, clusters. There was, for example, the wrench, the butterfly knife, and the brass knuckles came out all in one group. So if you wanted to buy those individually for maybe $2 as a microtransaction, or you wanted to buy them together for maybe $5 instead, just to save yourself a little money because you want to use them all. Or if you want to buy, say, the Peacekeeper Mark II, which just came out very recently, you can pay maybe $4 for the Peacekeeper. Or if you want the Peacekeeper and the FFAR together, I'm not exactly sure how they would group the weapons together, but if you want those two together, then maybe you pay $7 or something as opposed to $4 individually for each of them. So if you want to buy these DLC weapons and use them in game, for example, a YouTuber wanting to get gameplay for his or her channel, you can do that, and it's just a direct way of you knowing what you're getting. And I think it would cause a lot less frustration because people are not losing money just to get pixels. Granted, that is still what is happening, but at least you know what you're getting in this scenario. You're buying a weapon to get a weapon, period. You're not buying supply drops to give yourself a chance at something. Now, I know that this commentary has kind of been all over the place, but I want to know what you guys think. Obviously, this was my solution to the problem. You guys are different than me and are going to have different opinions than me. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say on this topic. To sum up my own opinion, honestly, I don't have a problem with supply drops. Advanced Warfare, I don't like weapon variants because it's kind of the same debate as getting something unfair that somebody else might not have an equal opportunity of possessing. But in Black Ops 3, with just the purely cosmetic items, I would have been fine with it. But once they started adding in weapons that only certain people then could get necessarily, that's when it started to become a little unfavorable in my opinion, and I start to not like the way that they're doing it. So I think if they either offered an in-game way to get the weapons through challenges, which could be coming in the future, we still don't know, or just a direct way to purchase them, I think that would solve a lot of problems in this game specifically, honestly. Advanced Warfare is a whole different story, but just relating this to Black Ops 3 being the game that's out now, I think if they were to make them available individually for you to purchase, I think it would solve a lot of problems. But if you guys did enjoy this video, I really would appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. If you did enjoy, it does really help the channel out. I do appreciate it. If you have any comments, concerns, anything you want to let me know, if you want to hop in this discussion a little bit, you have something you want to add, please do in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.